There is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the SmackDown Raw podcast, your one-stop shop for all WWE, AEW, and NXT recaps, reviews, and pay-per-view predictions. This is your host for tonight, Sebastian. Kyle here with me.
What's up?
Kyle, how you feeling?
Hey, dude, listen to you about hosting, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's
Less work for me.
been a long time coming.
You sound good, man. You sound good. You get a new mic?
I did get a new mic. I'm no longer on a gaming headset. I kind of stepped up in the world, I guess.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. That's awesome, man. I'm ready to talk some SmackDown with
Me
you.
too, man. Real quick, though, if you want to listen to us, we are available on Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, Google Play, Music, and iTunes, as well as YouTube. Please hit that, like, and subscribe. Don't know what we got planned for the 100th subscriber, but we're going to do something special when we hit 100.
At this rate, we'll hit 100 in like 2021.
Hey, if we're lucky. No, I'm kidding. But when it comes, we're going to do a little something.
We'll do something.
You can find me at WrestlingFan_32 on Twitter. Kyle, where can we
I'm
find
at the Kai Tai show as well.
you? All right, man. So,
Oh, don't forget our show's Twitter handle is at SmackDrawPod.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
in case,
yeah.
just in case you want to follow the show too as well.
We are at SmackDown Pod. You know, your first-time host is Wayne. Anyway, Kyle, what did you think about SmackDown tonight?
Man, it was good. I like it's a classic go home SmackDown. It very very light on the matches, heavy on the promos and I guess storytelling, if you want to call it that. Although the biggest story was just like for the night, not even for the pay-per-view. But it was odd. It was honestly, folks, you could have missed this one. You could have passed on it if you wouldn't have missed too much. Although the Miz and Mrs. The interview segment with Miz was pretty dope.
It was. I really enjoyed that, actually. It was one of the, like you said, the storytelling wasn't there, but this segment definitely had it. I kind of wish, which this is me just being a little detail freak, I kind of wish the cameraman that was following Miz and Maurice in would just followed them in instead of a cameraman sit there, because that kind of took the realism away from it. That was about the only excuse only complaint I had. When I watched
that's how Bray Wyatt stuff always goes, though.
Yeah.
It's more dramatic, like movie storytelling, other than like live wrestling.
Yeah, but when I watched it, I was like, why don't you just ask the cameraman Miz that was standing there for the last 5 minutes? That's kind of what I looked at.
So, I can't wait to get into that, because there's one part of that segment super funny to me too. But I'm gonna wait.
I think I know what it is.
It's super obvious, but we'll wait, man.
But no, I kind of like the matches though that we had tonight. I know you said it was a little light, but everyone was. I mean,
how many we have? We had what? You had the opening. Oh God, wasn't the opening match like a squash match? That was the Bailey. What? That was the Bailey Dana Brooke, right?
That wasn't the opener. Yeah. That did that. I didn't really consider it a squash. I felt it was a kind of extension.
Man, I looked at my phone for 2 minutes and the match was over. Like, I missed the finish because I was like, okay, the match is just getting going. I can probably skip the first 3 minutes and play on my phone, and I'll watch the ending. And it was over like that. I either freaking Rip Van Winkle on my phone, or that match was super fast.
It wasn't long, but I don't think it was 2 minutes. It was more around 4 or 5, I think. Dana got some stuff in. She looked good for the time she had. You had that match. You had the Chad Gable and Ali versus Revival match. That was also a pretty good match.
That was the match of the night.
Yeah, no doubt.
Easily.
You had Corbin versus Kofi. It turned into a tag match.
You had the Heavy Machinery taking on Cesaro and Nakamura as well.
I love tag team wrestling tonight. If you're a tag team guy, that's probably a show for you.
There you go. Or AEW, but we're not here to talk about AEW.
All those 500 records going. It's like the NFC East. But no, seriously. What was probably your highlight of the night, Kyle?
My highlight of the night was probably. Oh man, I don't know. I love Otis. To be honest, okay, so to be perfectly honest, it's the Miz. It's the Miz segment, and the Miz and the Firefly Funhouse, that all together. But a close second is Heavy Machinery backstage trying to give Sami Zayn Christmas ham.
Oh,
that breaks. Dude, Otis can sell sympathy. Like, oh my god, my heart broke for him in that segment. Like, he really can sell just his feelings being hurt. His face is so.
I had a
charismatic.
friend that watches every once in a while, and I guess he decided to watch tonight, and he texted me during this.
Oh yeah, what do you say?
He asked me a question, Kyle. Can you take one guess? And I know you're gonna get it wrong, but so I'm not even gonna ask. He asked me if they was trying to make Otis the Eugene character.
Oh god, that stings, man.
Yeah.
They do play him like that though. They don't. They do kind of play him up like he's a dullard.
Yeah, they do. And you kind of have Tucker as the Regal, in that situation.
Yeah, dude, Tucker by all means is like the most loyal friend. I'm telling you, like that segment, dude, sold their relationship perfectly, man.
It does.
It is, man, and it makes me love Tucker. Like the backstage, the in-ring stuff, Tucker, take it or leave it. But the backstage ongoings, like he's always got Otis's back, and I love it, man. I love their dynamic, dude. I grow a bigger fan of Otis every single week, and to a minor degree, Tucker too, because they're a package. Otis wouldn't fly by himself.
No,
I don't think so.
Tucker's he does a lot of things that guys his size shouldn't. He's very athletic.
He's a thick boy too, man. He ain't just big; he is thick.
It's kind of the norm now. Like you have so many guys that shouldn't do what they're able to do. If you put Tucker back in mid 2000s, man, it's untelling. I mean, he'd be a highlight reel.
Oh hell yeah, he would. Oh, that would be because he would be in the landscape isn't oversaturated back then. No, you know what I mean?
Now it's just part of the norm, and that kind of, in a way, it sucks for some of them because, like, if they was just in a different era, they'd have something that separate them so much.
It's like who can put the biggest facade that they're a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
And it's got to be Keith Lee. Like Keith Lee's got to be leading that because he's doing like the spinning jump kicks, he's doing the leapfrogs and doing the handsprings and stuff like that.
I almost said handsome. Ivar's probably in the conversation too.
Oh yeah. From
Viking Raiders, yeah.
Viking Raiders, yeah, man. No, that's true. They call him the high dude. They make it a point to be like, and here's the high flyer of the group, weighing at like 395 pounds. Oh my god.
But no, it's
yeah.
You almost forget about Samoa Joe, where he hasn't been in the ring in God knows how long.
But Samoa Joe, he doesn't have he moves like an agile striker.
Yeah.
But he's not pulling off any like flashy athleticism.
No, it's just a different style of athlete.
Like his biggest thing is kind of like that half Pele kick he does to the guys in the corner.
Yeah.
It's like a cross between an Enziguri and a Pele.
He has a mean suicide dive though.
That's true. No, that's true. That's true.
Which
Big E's got spear through the ropes though.
But now, if you can't do a suicide dive, you might as well look for another job. So
yeah, what are you doing wrestling? We got to get on Jay about that. Like, bro, you need a suicide dive, homie.
I wonder if we can. We need to ask him. Next time Jay's on the show, we're gonna ask him like during the show. We're gonna put him on the spot.
Just like we did at on the WrestleMania throwback. That was dope. Oh man.
So Kofi tonight, he kind of brought up Lesnar, and that's been 2 months in the making. Kofi just showing some emotion off that loss.
Dude, that promo was fire.
It
That
was.
promo was awesome, man. Yeah.
And it makes me wonder with Roman Reigns kind of. To me, I feel like Roman's going to be the Athena opponent at WrestleMania. I don't know if you feel the same or not.
Well, I don't know how much you look into I get my wrestling news from people who regurgitate essentially Meltzer and all of them and a couple other sites too. But recently I heard that up until recently, so it's no longer the plan in motion. Up until recently, though, the plan was for Roman to headline WrestleMania against The Rock.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen them rumors like every year, though.
Every year, yeah. I mean, they're just trying to get The Rock back in for that because, I mean, it's Roman and it's just another way to put him over. But now the smart money is on Roman taking on The Fiend, which that would line up with Roman winning the Royal Rumble. He's the odds favorite to win the Royal Rumble. But do you know who's second place in the Vegas odds next to Roman?
KO.
CM Punk.
I think
they ran down the top 10 according to Vegas odds. And Vegas odds are typically some of the most reliable, which is crazy to me. But yeah, it was CM Punk was the number 2 odds to win the Royal Rumble, and then by pretty much a landslide is Roman Reigns right now.
I just don't see CM Punk coming back unless.
Dude, he's coming back. What are you talking? Dude, he's coming back.
I don't think he is, man. I really don't. And I don't know how to say it. He's been out of the ring for so long now. I just wonder if he can keep up how he used to. Like I don't even think CM Punk will be the same CM Punk.
Yeah, he brought that up too. That time is not on his side if he is going to make a return.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like people are hyping it up so much, and when it does happen, if he's not on that level, then everybody's just going to turn on him.
I don't know if people are expecting him to be a 5-star wrestler, though.
I don't know. From what I see, a lot of people are.
Really?
Yeah.
He never struck me as like a 5-star wrestling guy.
Depending on who was in the ring with him, I thought. I mean,
didn't him and who was it? Was it him and Cena that had that 5-star match on Raw like years ago?
Yeah, I mean they had amazing. Cena has a reputation for doing that though. I remember back in the 2000s, him and Shawn Michaels had a 55-minute classic on Raw. Like he pulls it on Raw every once in a while. But what I was going to lead into there was Roman came out to make the save to Kofi tonight.
Yep.
I wonder now that Kofi has brought this up, if Roman, not immediately, but a month or two down the line, if Roman and Kofi's going to have a little side story, or to see who faces the Fiend.
Yeah. It's kind of like what they did with Daniel Bryan and Roman. Yeah. Remember that year that Roman won?
Yeah.
And everybody flipped shit. So at Fastlane, they had Daniel Bryan face Roman for the spot at WrestleMania, and then ultimately Roman still won.
And that's the thing. I don't know if it's a good idea. Like, they've been booking Roman.
Dude, you put Roman next to Kofi. Kofi's popularity will completely overshadow Roman's. And people are liking him again. People are liking Roman Reigns again, and it's less is more with Roman. It's all you have to do is just less is more with the guy.
And his booking's been really good.
Yeah. Absolutely. Book him weak, man. Book him vulnerable. People like to cheer for underdogs, man. They don't want to cheer for a franchise.
And not just that night. I don't know if it helps Roman long term either. I feel like it could get him back to and then again, you don't have a situation like you had with Seth Rollins back then too. Like Seth's the new Roman, but they took advantage of it and turned him heel. So
yeah, well, yeah, because they never wanted Seth to really be the face of the company. Just kind of like feeling it out with him for a while there.
Yeah, he really screwed that one up. Like by himself. Like I don't even know. Like I respect
that dude was stepping on rakes every other day.
Yeah, and
Every other day that dude step on a rake.
I respect the man for when it first happened, I said it. Good for him for putting that WWE flag in the ground because it came at a time where, I mean, they kind of needed that voice in a way. Everybody was against WWE, and it still kind of is. I mean, I think some of the honeymoon fever is going off on AEW. But they are still those people that's 100% against WWE at the same time. But he just really hasn't helped himself after. Like, I feel like he went overboard a couple times.
Oh, like, yeah, he was stepping on rakes, man. It's weird, man. I'm not really a fan of talking about the online stuff just because, like, to me, it's like, I try not to get my emotions wrapped up on social media. So at the same time, I try not to get my drama from it as well. I don't know if I'm articulating that correctly. Like, I don't like to see stuff online and let it upset me. Unless I'm watching like videos like soldiers getting home and seeing their kids. I like that stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as like, can you believe what this D-bag said and this and that and someone really getting under the skin of other people, I try not to, because man, I get mad enough as it is. I don't need to get mad at a screen. You know what I mean? Like, that's just so when I hear like Seth is being a D-bag and all that stuff online, I really just like tuned it out. I get it. Like, I totally get the gist of it. Flexing his bank account and flexing on Will Ospreay and stuff like that, just making him come across like a D-bag. But I felt like that stuff was kind of, it was like kind of like he probably was always like that, and just like, I don't know, like his on-screen persona, and then when people got a taste of that online stuff, like it just was like, that makes sense. you know,
like when he talks now in this new heel, and really the last couple of weeks. I mean, he just officially turned heel Monday, but the seed's been planted for a few weeks now. I feel like everything he says has some realism behind it, like he actually feels the way he does.
Blur the lines, man. Blur the lines, and that's the best way to do wrestling.
But I'm like you. But the only difference is I look at the online stuff just for fairness. Like, I feel like some of the Seth's hate was kind of unfair. For example, I can't remember what the term he used for AEW was, but everybody went off. Then before that, Kenny Omega said that anybody on NXT would be in a dark match in AEW. Like, I feel like that's kind of on an even field. I feel like it should go both ways. But you said, the money thing, that was a little far.
I think I know where the point I was trying to get across now is I don't feed into it. Like, I won't get in there and get into a Twitter beef or try to sway someone's opinion online. Because I've always asked, like, one time I was like, who has ever like walked through life and been like, man, I thought a certain way till I had a debate on Facebook and they changed my view. I was like, I don't know of anybody that is arguing with someone on Facebook or Twitter and all of a sudden they reach a compromise in like equal footing.
It does.
Like, most of the time, no. Like, maybe you can about stuff that's not serious, like fandom. Maybe you can talk about fandom, but when it comes to like stuff that's drumming up like personal beef and emotions and all that stuff, I'll read the tweet, be like, yeah, that was stupid, and then I just move on. Like, there's no way, even if like I wholeheartedly disagree with it, I won't invest any time in trying to sway anyone's opinion. Just because I know it's not gonna, man, it's just you're gonna get in like an online shouting match, essentially. I think what happened was it was my son. I think my son was just born, so like 4 years ago. I remember having some beef on Facebook over some stupid political stuff, and all it turned into was the people I was trying to be articulate. I'm gonna paint myself in a rosy complexion here, but all that happened every time that I go down that pathway, people will try to discredit you. Like, that's all they do is you can have your opinion, and then even if it's a good opinion or like, well put thought, they'll find something about you that all of a sudden discredits your opinion. You're no longer a credible source. You're no longer intelligent enough to come up with a statement like that or whatever it is. And then once I learned that's kind of like the online mentality, people aren't up for debates. They're not up for like well-mannered debates. Like nobody, unless like your personal friends or something. And even then, dude, it's stupid.
I think the main problem is, and this will be the last thing I will say because we're getting a little off topic. I think that has to do with just nobody really knowing what an opinion is anymore. It feels like everybody thinks their thoughts are the gospel and that's what they should go by.
Well, no one can be told that they're wrong for thinking something.
Exactly, and a lot of people,
that's what it is.
Yeah, and a lot of people think pretty much do. They try to say people's wrong, and it ruffles feathers.
And then on the internet, it's super easy to find your bubbles where you can find like-minded people.
Yeah,
and then you get wrapped up in those bubbles.
Yeah,
and then you can kind of just like shield everybody out because it's a lot easier to hang out with people that all are like-minded, instead of treading the water where you might not know something, and have someone try to educate you, and then maybe you can articulate your point, and then kind of like I said, meet in the middle. That ship has sailed.
Absolutely.
Online it has, because it's just too easy.
Especially Twitter. Like wrestling on Twitter, like it has some bad days, but man, I could never imagine getting into political Twitter. Like that just. Yeah.
Oh God, no. I can't do Facebook no more, man. I can't do Facebook. I'll hop on Facebook to look at a couple cute photos of my relatives, and then I'm off Facebook again. Because Facebook went from and this isn't my original quote. I'm quoting someone else here. So just in case if y'all pick up on this, I'm not saying this is my thought, but I completely agree with them. Facebook went from a bunch of college students trying to get laid. It's like a means to get laid, to a bunch of fucking elderly people yelling at each other.
Pretty much.
And yeah, about politics, religion, everything. It's just a bunch of old people fucking yelling at each other.
Yep.
I can't do Facebook.
Well,
I cannot do it.
I'll tell you how much I am with Facebook before we move on. It's kind of funny. Me and my wife has a joint Facebook because I never really used it anyway. And my wife has been playing Farmville, and so she made me a different profile just so I get Farmville keys.
I've been there.
But now
Anyways,
she's trying to get me to use that one. I'm like, I don't use Facebook enough to have a personal one. So, but anyway, like you said,
this is a wrestling podcast. Okay, thank you for bearing with us, venting about social media. But I'm sure if you're listening to us, you're probably in those circles, and let us know what you guys think. Like, what's your social medias that you prefer and ones that you avoid, or are you just not on social media at all? Let us know in the comments.
And if you're part of wrestling Twitter, you absolutely have ran into what we were talking about. So you can feel with us. But,
this is relative. It's relative.
Yeah, but so TLC Sunday, Kyle. We never had a match announced till last Friday.
Yeah.
In the last 2 weeks, have you felt like that they've done a good enough job making up for that? Or another question, do you think it's bad that they waited that long?
I heard for some reason, I heard that this was intentional. That they played their cards to their chest for so long, because I guess there's some metric that they will get more viewers because instead of like long term, like here's a match 1 week, here's another match another week, you wait till the very last week and then just bam 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 match, and apparently according to them it moves the needle. It's us that it sucks for, because like for example, we waited till tonight to see if any more matches were announced, because we haven't even shot predictions yet. And now I got to get off the podcast with you, try to get some reasonable sleep just to get up first thing in the morning and shoot podcasts with our boy Vince, or predictions with Vince, man. It sucks.
It does suck for people like us.
It's so selfish, but at the same time, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of
Well, I didn't really like it. My counter argument, though, I know AEW had a show it was Full Gear. They had like 3 matches announced last week, and I feel like the difference here was, other than them 3 AEW matches, like the other matches kind of felt forced, you know. With this show, even though the matches wasn't announced, you knew what was going. Like, we knew Roman and Corbin was going to have a match, like 5 weeks ago.
Oh yeah. Same thing with Lashley and Rusev when they didn't have a match at the last pay-per-view Survivor Series.
Yeah, and with Becky and Charlotte been doing stuff with the Kabuki Warriors last month or so, I kind of felt like that match was a shoe-in. Even the New Day and the Revival match, they at least had a reason. Like, they made a reason. They had a match for it.
I'm pulling up Bleacher Reports right now for the current match. So right now, Bleacher Report has us having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches. Jesus, it feels like they've only announced 3, but I know they've announced more. But the Raw Tag Team Championship match is going to be the Viking Raiders Open Challenge. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. SmackDown Tag Champions New Day versus Revival in that ladder match. We got a table match, Rusev and Bobby Lashley. Just a straight-up match between Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy. Same goes for Bray Wyatt and The Miz. They haven't announced if that's for the title or not, which I don't think it will be. And then you have a TLC match between Reigns and Corbin. And then the Women's Championship TLC match. The Women's Tag... the Women's Tag Team Championships TLC match between the Kabuki Warriors and Becky and Charlotte.
So, 6 out of 7 matches, even though they wasn't announced, well, I guess you can kind of take New Day and Revival off that list because they just had their number 1 contenders match last week. So we'll say 5 out of 7 matches. Taking away the Open Challenge, it obviously doesn't have a story. These matches still have a story, and it wouldn't surprise me if AJ and Orton was added, and it wouldn't surprise me if Bayley and Lacey was added, Lacey Evans. So, while they're not announced, I still don't have as much as an issue with it, just because they were still stories, and if you, like, they didn't have to spell it out for me. I knew it was going to be on the card, most likely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But... so that's why I didn't really mind. I do, like, for people like us, it sucks because of what you said.
We have to try and get the content out in time.
Yeah.
You know?
But as your casual fan...
it'll probably move the needle, man, because it's they build that excitement last second. Like, oh, don't miss all this stuff. Like, look at all these things we're giving you. You know?
And two, okay, like a casual fan... that doesn't watch every single week, you might get a little excited if you followed the Aleister Black and Buddy story. But if you just wake up on Saturday and they announce Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy, like, you don't even care about that story. If you follow wrestling, you know it's going to be a banger of a match with time, right?
I mean, as long as you know who they are and what they can do.
Yeah, that's what I say. As long as you follow...
If it's your first time watching them, you're not going to know what the hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. That one didn't need, but I'm glad they gave a story as they did.
And we got a ladder match. That was a change tonight. Revival on New Day is now going to be a ladder match, which seems odd because last week the Revival cut that heck of a promo, by the way, even though it kind of means nothing now, saying they were going to beat them with old school tag team wrestling.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, this is another case of the right hand not left is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all that is.
I still expect a heck of a match.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm glad to see Kofi doing the promo stuff again. Man, Kofi doing the promo stuff is awesome. Really quick, I'll give you a rundown of the show, guys, while we have a little bit of a break here. The show opened up with Corbin and Ziggler in the ring. They're pretty much they've upped their security game. They cut a promo on Roman Reigns. They show the dog food, whatever. It was what it was. During their promo, they said they're on the dawn of a new day, and they weren't even calling it a new day, but that was enough to bring out the new day. And like Sebastian and I were talking about, Kofi cut hell of a promo. It was awesome. He finally addressed losing to Lesnar. He didn't cower. He didn't, take time off. He didn't get on social media and whine. He took it like a man, came back, and now he's 7-time tag champion with Big E. Which I'm happy and sad about this because if you've listened up on the news, Kofi was actually supposed to turn heel. Apparently, like they had what's even more surprising is they actually had long-term booking played out for Kofi to turn heel. But
long-term booking.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it, bro. But Xavier Woods' Achilles injury threw a stick in those spokes, and they didn't really have a plan B for it. So they took the safe route and put the titles on Kofi and Big E and kept Kofi face, But I loved his promo, man. He slapped the taste out of Baron Corbin too, so that was nice. But the overall story of the night was you kept cutting backstage because the security was upped because Roman Reigns supposedly wasn't there, and security was meant to keep Roman from Baron Corbin. But we'd randomly cut backstage throughout the night, and security's laid out. Dude, at one point, did you think that was Michael Hayes that got put through the table?
I thought it was
in the
Enzo.
beginning. You thought it was Enzo?
Yeah, like I seen that hair, and I was like, Enzo's back? What the heck?
Enzo's back and just threw a table unconscious.
Yeah,
I thought it was damn Michael Hayes,
he
bro.
gained a little weight, though.
Yeah, no, that's why I thought it was Michael Hayes. He looked older, Yeah, they also set up an interview with The Miz later. We're going to get into that. That's going to be my favorite thing to talk about tonight. Bliss and Nikki Cross had a match against Fire and Desire. Bliss picked up the win for her team. Nothing really going on here Cross picked up the victory for her team. Nothing much going on here other than driving home the fact that Alexa Bliss is a big-time face. And right now, Fire and Desire cut corners to jump them because they attacked him before the match even started. We talked about Tucker and Otis trying to gift Sami Zayn because they did what's that Secret Santa, right?
Yeah.
They
got brought up for tonight, actually.
Yeah, so they drew Secret Santa for Zayn. They tried to gift Zayn a Christmas ham. Zayn was insulted and just ran down Otis, calling him a dullard and a bunch of mean names. Sami Zayn can be ruthless, and he sells it so well. It almost like blurs the line and makes you think that he's that terrible of a human. But that set up a match between Tucker and Otis taking on Cesaro and Nakamura. I liked that at the end, Cesaro was like, well, I'll take the ham. And everybody cheered, and then he just threw the ham on the floor. Classic heel, man. Classic heel. That was a good ham, too, man. That was, that junk was just from catering, right?
Yeah.
But match of the night, Shorty G and Ali taking on the Revival. This was at a really cool spot in it because you had I think it was Chad Gable had a submission on one of the members of the Revival. I think it was he had a submission on the Dawson and on Scott Dawson, and Dash Wilder came off the top rope and hit a splash on Shorty G, but Ali was on another ring post and hit the 450 splash on top of Dash afterward. It was just top rope spot after top rope spot. It was really cool. Ultimately, the crowd ate that up.
Very into this match.
Yo, this is awesome. Got all those chants. That match had a cool ending. Ali went for a crossbody, like a twisting crossbody off the top rope, and landed straight into a shatter machine. Which, by the way, that looks painful as hell to take.
It does.
That looks painful as crud, man.
You right.
Yeah. But it was a big nothing match. The best part about this match, other than the top rope spot, was Dash Wilder tripping over the set, walking out and yelling at Dawson. He's like, look out for this. It was so funny.
I saw a post that was like, we should have Titus O'Neil versus Dash Wilder in a Falls Count Anywhere match. And
oh my god, stupid. Backstage, Elias made fun of Bayley through song, said she looked like a dude. This prompted a match with Dana Brooke, which I mentioned earlier was pretty much a glorified squash match. Completely missed the finish to it. Then, like I said, we're gonna come back to the Miz segment because we had a Miz interview, and that's my favorite thing. I can't wait to talk about that. You had the Heavy Machinery versus Cesaro and Nakamura. We panned out. We saw more guards were laid out. Otis got a hell of a hot tag, dude. Otis gets the biggest cheers of the night. That's what I said last week at the SmackDown show that I was at. Otis gets the loudest pop with his hot tag. Crowd goes nuts for Otis every time, and it was no different here. But ultimately, through distraction and nefarious ways, Nakamura ended up pinning Tucky with the Kinshasa, and then we'll talk about the main event as well, seeing as that had some of the biggest spots in storytelling leading into the pay-per-view. But yeah, go back, man. Tell me about this interview that happened with Miz, man, because I'm stoked to talk about it.
Well, I start out, and I don't know, I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. Anytime they go to Superstar's house, you go back in the day to Randy Orton and Triple H, for example. Like, anytime this happens, I'm all for it. Like, I feel like they could have had the crappiest segment, and I'd still be cheering. I don't care. But anyway, Miz has an interview with Renee, and they just talk about Bryan and Miz's history. And
they brought up the infamous Talking Smack episode.
Yes. By the way, it's still one of the greatest things.
One of the great, dude. That'll go down as an all-time promo in history. That's up there with some of Roddy Piper's stuff. You know, that's just like classic.
It's
classic.
Really a shame, man. They got rid of that. Like, I guess they're trying.
No one was watching it, man.
I guess
you can't. You know, we can claim we loved it all we wanted, but no, man.
I'm somebody, Kyle. I'm somebody. But anyway, I guess they're trying to get some of that stuff of backstage, but you know, that time slot, man, it's a tough watch. 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night.
Yo, I have not watched a single episode of Backstage or The Bump.
I haven't watched it. I watched The Bump a little bit on my phone, but not like as it's on. Like, I go back and watch it. I see highlights of Backstage, but that's about it. But anyway, they talk about Bryan and Miz's history. They only talk for what, maybe a minute and a half, something like that. Am I right, Kyle?
Yeah, and then you hear Maurice shout out to Miz.
Yeah.
In a panic. And
I felt like at this time, Bray had hired his sister Abigail position. Like, that's what I was expecting.
Yeah, right.
Miz runs in there, and you know, Bray's magical powers lets the Firefly Funhouse kind of pop up on, I guess, the iPad? Was it iPad or tablet, Kyle? It's clear.
Cue the professional here. No, they were clearly on an
Okay.
Yeah, they were looking at it was supposed to be remote footage, but it was clearly like prepared footage. It was
Kayfabe.
Yeah, it was Monroe in her bed and whining, and she was not whining by this point. She was playing with Ramblin' Rabbit, right?
Yeah.
And then it cuts over to a message from Bray Wyatt, and then it cuts back to Monroe again, and all the puppets are in there, and you know Abby's moving around the buzzard. What's the buzzard's name? I can't remember.
Mercy.
Mercy. Yeah, Mercy's like interacting with her. Just the whole Firefly Funhouse is in the bed with her. And then they panic and they run through the house, man. And I love this part. So when they run to Monroe's room, they stop. Like they just stop because there's red light emitting from it. And then Miz clearly sends Maurice in first. He sends Maurice into danger. Like, what a gentleman Miz is.
I think that was intentional.
Oh man, that was so intentional, man. But like you said, they cut to a cameraman that was already in the room. This was definitely clearly shot like on Miz and Mrs., which I cannot. Now I want to see Miz and Mrs. later on to see if they bring up this whole thing. But yeah, Monroe's fine. Dude, how good did Monroe sell that she was scared of the doll that was in her bed? Because they had like a little girl doll with Fiend makeup, man.
She did an absolutely great job.
She didn't sell, man. She was legitimately scared of that.
Yes,
They
absolutely.
probably terrified her with it, stuck it in the bed, and said, "Shoot!" Like rolling, you know.
Absolutely. Like, that's my child when she sees the thing. I'm not going to be a Rob here dog, but just to give context, my daughter used to watch wrestling with me anytime it's on. Then the thing showed up. And now she does not like to be in here while it's on. And I could tell her, like, on Wednesdays, I'm like, this is a whole nother, different people, different company. And she still, no, she won't watch it. Like, she's scared to death.
Heck no.
But, no, and I said that was intentional. In my opinion, here's why. The Fiend always brings out the worst in people.
And you think that's what he did to The Miz, sending Maurice in there?
Yes, I thought it brought the old heel, like one of the old heel coward tendencies back for a second.
Okay. Yeah, man. I mean, I can see that for sure. Let me see, because you had, obviously, Seth Rollins just went. Daniel Bryan might be going back to the American Dragon, I think it was, persona, where he had short hair and clean shaven face. Then you have who else? Finn Balor became heel. So yeah, it could be that Bray Wyatt's going to turn Miz into a cowardly heel. Although was he a cowardly heel?
He kind of was. I mean, he had the Miz Taraj fighting his battles and Maurice.
Yeah, the Miz. No, you're right. The Miz Taraj and then Maurice too as well.
Yeah.
Got a ton of victories facing off against Dolph Ziggler.
They don't have to like turn them full heel, but I just thought it was interesting they brought back a tendency just for that second. Maybe, I mean, we always talk about how they pay attention to the little details with the Fiend character, and I just thought probably that was why. I could be wrong. It could have just, but who knows? So Kyle, me and Vince was talking last week, and I want to get your opinion.
Yeah.
What happens this Sunday? It's interesting that they brought Bray in for this. Well, they're the same guys. I guess that's weird to say. It's interesting the Bray character is having this match and not the Fiend. Is this a way to... And it's non-title, and this is what makes me think it even more. Because I feel like if it was a lock-in for Bray to win, it would just be a title match anyway. But do you see Daniel Bryan interfering now Sunday and costing Bray, but still protecting the Fiend since it was the...
It's hard, man. It's hard to say because Daniel Bryan obviously is the wild card here. Figuring out what the hell he's going to do. Yeah, once again, I was super bummed because I was like sure as rain I was going to see him on SmackDown last week with the shaved head or whatever. But I don't know, man. I mean, so no one, Bray Wyatt's not recruiting. So I think it's a safe bet that Daniel Bryan is not going to help Bray or the Fiend.
Well, that's another thing too. I think either the scenario I brought up happens, or they do a callback somehow to when Bray recruited Daniel to the Wyatt family.
They did. Excuse me, I try not to yawn, but they did say that that he was supposed to add a member to the Firefly Fund. And so I don't know if that's Daniel Bryan or if that's represented by a doll with the Fiend's face paint on it. I doubt it's the doll.
And I don't think this is how it is. I don't want to be like everybody on the internet. I think we should give up on this one. But that doll looked a lot like Liv Morgan. Just saying. But no.
Yeah,
and what's interesting, you said
they're doing the Emelina shit with Liv Morgan, man.
Well, I don't think they're going to go at
Liv Morgan. Stay tuned for Liv Morgan's makeup.
But
oh my god!
Right when he attacked Bryan, he did say, "I have a promise. I have to get a new member of the Firefly Funhouse before we attack them." So,
I mean, the safe bet is that Daniel Bryan will cause a DQ finish. But you don't really want to do the Miz. The Miz is probably just going to lose clean to. Bray Wyatt, and then Daniel Bryan will come out post-match. And then, I don't know if that's going to But it's hard, man. It's up in the air, man. I don't feel confident. I don't feel confident in any prediction I have regarding Daniel Bryan because I really don't know. I mean, they're probably going to go with something safe, which would be Daniel Bryan comes out and attacks Bray Wyatt and continues the Fiend rivalry going into Royal Rumble, but which would allow Daniel Bryan to stay out of the Rumble because anytime Bryan's in the Rumble, he's the only one people want to win.
Yeah, they had that match back in. It was kind of funny. I mean, Bray was the guy that Bryan
eliminated him.
No, they wrestled on that show at Batista or Roman Reigns won.
No, he got eliminated, but he got tossed out by Bray.
Yeah, that was another year, but the first year, like
2015, where Roman. Are you talking about the one where Daniel Bryan got tossed out like minutes after being in the Royal Rumble, and then they chanted they wanted refunds? I think that was in Philly.
No, that wasn't Philly because Philly is when everybody thought Daniel was going to be number 30, and it was Rey Mysterio, and they absolutely crapped on
And they shit on Ray.
And that was pretty much what screwed Roman over. I think 16 is when Bryan got thrown out minutes in, and they had that match.
No, man, I swear that was 15.
No, because Ray got crapped on because everybody thought Daniel was going to be 30, and Daniel lost the opener to Bray Wyatt that night.
How many Royal Rumbles has Roman won? He's only won one, right? Or has he won two?
I think he's won two. I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know.
Pretty sure it's two. I could be wrong. No, and another interesting layer to this story in a way. It just hit me earlier. Bray used to have a family.
Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to. I don't know.
2015 was Philly, like I said.
Yeah, but
that's the one that Daniel Bryan got tossed out and The Rock popped up to try and get Roman over. Yeah, Roman won. He was entrant number 19. The one where the one where Ray was in it, Triple H won that.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah. They thought that Daniel Bryan was number 30. It was Rey Mysterio. Triple H threw out Roman Reigns and gave him the crotch chop.
No, it was.
And then they had that boring match at WrestleMania.
No, it was actually 2014 Batista won, and that's how they set up the. I'm looking at it now, but that's how they set up WrestleMania 30.
Yeah, that's how they set up WrestleMania 30 with Daniel Bryan. That was the Yes Movement.
Yeah, but you said Triple H.
The one I'm talking about where Daniel Bryan was eliminated by. I think we're arguing different shit now.
Okay. Anyway, we probably
I think we are, man.
What I was saying, and it hit me earlier. Bray used to have a family, so maybe this isn't just about Bryan. Maybe he's trying to just disrupt Miz's perfect little world, and it's kind of personal. Like the Miz has this loving family that Bray always wanted, and Bray don't want nobody else to have what he can't.
No, Bray said tonight that it was Miz getting involved in his essentially in his business. He said snitches get stitches, and Miz, doing all this investigating to Daniel Bryan, getting too involved, is what made Bray go ahead and play interference.
No, I don't think this is the only part of the story. I think it's mostly Diff Daniel, but I think this is an interesting little layer.
It is weird.
As in, the Fiend doesn't forget his past.
Right. And that's the thing about why everyone, I think maybe you brought it up, I can't remember who it was said this is cool that Bray Wyatt is wrestling Miz as Bray and not the Fiend, is the Fiend only comes out against people that have done Bray wrong in the past. Miz never did Bray wrong, so there's no call for the Fiend to come out. And that's why Bray has to take him on as Bray and not the Fiend. I thought that was pretty dope.
And that's another reason, too. I feel like Roman's the guy in Mania. Just off their history. Like, with the Fiend's character going after so many past foes, I don't know how much sense Kofi would make. Or anybody
Yo,
else.
I won't be happy until he takes out Randy Orton and John Cena.
And that's the thing. Like, Roman's the last one, it feels like, on that side, like the SmackDown roster.
Yo, like seriously, the Fiend needs to show up on Good Morning America while John Cena's doing an interview and just murder him there.
They'd be great.
You know, that'd be so good. It'd be so good. Is there any Fox talk shows that are like wholesome?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. I don't know if what they have.
I don't watch the news or anything.
Well, I meant no, not news, but I meant like, do they have like morning talk shows and shit like that?
I'm always at work at early. Like I never.
Yeah,
but
I got you.
No, there's so many, and that's the thing I like about the Fiend is while there's this one layer it's focused on, but it seems like every single feud he's had, you could add more layers the deeper that you want to dig into it.
Yeah.
It's just, I think they've done an incredible job with him. I really do. I think it's
they've done great.
It's one of the most.
I mean, he's starting to cool now. He's starting to cool down now. But I will say that Bray's Firefly Funhouse tonight was actually really good.
It was.
He seemed invested in his character tonight.
And that's why I always say Bray's so smart. He really is. And yeah, he's not like a first generation, but man, we've seen a lot of like second generation guys just not get it. So I don't want to say it's all because of that. Bray
he doesn't even strike me as like, because his dad was IRS. I'm not going to discredit him too much. I mean, he's obviously, he is second generation, but it's not like he's Ric Flair's kid or Randy Savage's kid, or you know what I mean? It's not like his dad was this huge pivotal
absolutely not.
But then again, you know, we can't really say that for Randy Orton either. Look, Randy Orton's third gen, and Cowboy Bob Orton, and I don't even know who his grandfather was. I'm sorry, but neither of them were huge in their day either. They were kind of like mid-carders as well. And Randy Orton's going to go down as one of the best ever, or at least one of the most decorated champs ever.
Man, I don't know. I wasn't alive back then, but I would like to just go back in time and see what kind of heat that Cowboy Bob Orton can get. Because I remember being a kid, and when Randy and Undertaker had that feud that led to Hell in a Cell, and I remember popping so hard every time Undertaker would do anything to Cowboy Bob Orton. Like, and that's just as a kid that don't even understand, you know?
It doesn't get it. Yeah.
So, no, I would like to go back in time just to see, him.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I just feel like it's as much crap as they get on so many things. Like, they deserve all the props in the world.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, they was that little hiccup at Hell in a Cell. And I don't want to get into that. Everyone knows how I feel about that. But, they seem to kind of recover from it. It hasn't killed them like a lot of people.
A lot of the times it's just a matter of just letting time go on. Just get some time between you and that stinker. Although one match that'll never recover, I don't care how much time you give it, it's going to be Goldberg and Undertaker.
Goldberg's wanting to go around too.
Yeah, I saw some people getting upset because of part of his interview with Stone Cold. Stone Cold asked him, word association. He'd say a word and Goldberg would have to, off the top of the dome. And he said, Stone Cold said Undertaker, and he said owed him a receipt, and everybody's up in arms. Like, no, you owe him a fucking apology, and like this and that, and it's like, dude, just chill. Like, it was off the top of his head, and it was pretty much an apology. Like, he owes him one for the bad match. Like, he acknowledged it. Yep. Sorry, he didn't get on air, look down the camera lens, and grovel for forgiveness. You know what I mean? Like, fucking chill out, dude.
And the thing is, if he did something like that, then everybody would be screaming how much out of character he is. Like,
no, it is. You're damned if you do. That's one of the things that, is that turned heel. He did get one thing right, and it was saying like, "You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't."
Oh yeah, I love that line. Like,
Yeah,
and that's bad too because it kind of follows the narratives that the heels are the most understandable 90% of the.
yeah, no, they are, man. Heels make the most sense in pro wrestling. Faces are fucking stupid. Like they are some of the dumbest logical, like, psychology and everything, man. Faces are terribly dumb.
I will give WWE props in that too. Not that specifically because they're just as bad, but they've done a good job of making KO not look dumb during this AOP and Sephiroth and stuff.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. At least KO, it doesn't come across like a moron. I wonder how much of that is Kevin Owens. Like, look, I'll play along with this, but I don't want to be perceived as stupid.
I don't know.
Paul
Heyman, I think Kyle has a role in that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I always forget that Paul Heyman's running around.
Like Drew McIntyre's a guy too. I've noticed last few weeks it's killed it on the mic, and he has these little moments that, like when he was out there with Randy, and then the club came out, and he's like, you know what, this doesn't involve me. See ya. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yes.
And when they set up that Fatal 4-Way, I remember he was like, "Well, I like my idea better, but fine." It's like,
yeah. It's just speaking some truth, man.
A lot of these people
like the audience. See, that's the thing about WWE is they're always the standard bearer for how pro wrestling is perceived, just because they're the largest organization on the planet. And WWE has made a habit of insulting the crowd's intelligence. And that's the thing that's the only thing that, like, if there was one thing I could change about WWE, it would be for their product to assume that the crowd is a little bit smarter. Like, the crowd has a better memory, and just for things to just allow your crowd to get it. Because you know what? A lot of people will, and those who don't, they can simply just ask and someone can explain it for them. But that's kind of like I said, that's kind of my gripe is just always insulting the crowd's intelligence. I fucking hate it, man.
Yeah, they do. And I hate to jump on this train, but Vince, he just doesn't get a lot of that stuff.
Comes from a different time.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Comes from a different time. This guy's been trying to produce television for what, 3 decades, 4 decades. You know what I mean?
Interesting question. I saw a poll the other day, and it was kind of a tournament thing, and it made the finals. Okay, and it made it to the finals, and there was 4 guys, and the tournament was who is the greatest writer, creative person in wrestling. Vince McMahon was in that top 4. Do you agree with that?
Oh, creative mind?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
I do too. A lot of people did.
Yeah.
A lot.
Modern day, modern day, no. Modern day, that dude is his. No.
And even now, he has his moments. Like.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean.
Like, he's been going for what, 40 years almost?
Has to be, man. He took over in the 80s, I think.
To do what he's done in 40 years with the success that WWE has gone through, I mean, it's just incredible. We can give him all the hell we want now, but at the end of the day, it's untold what wrestling would be without Vince McMahon. Or even if it would still be.
If pro wrestling would still be a thing, yeah. I think it would.
I think it would. But
it's been around for well over 100 years.
But would it be a thing that you'd have to dig for? Like one of them. Like, I don't know. Like, would it be so easily accessible? I wonder. Would it be mainstream? Like, now it's kind of mainstream. I don't know if it would be.
Well, I don't know. Like, so it's the old argument, well, if WWF wasn't there, what would WCW have been a thing? Or was WCW just reactionary to WWF? Some promotion would have come along because there were fans for it. Would it be as big as it is now? Probably not. You had Vince knock it out the park business wise for 4 decades now. You know what I mean?
And they're still
like
breaking
this is
records. So
2019 has been their most. I think it's 2019 has been their most profitable year in business ever. Signing like the $1 billion deal with Fox and
yeah, that's probably true.
yeah, and there's the argument now that WWE for the first time in history, I think it's been going on now for a year or two, but for the first time in history, WWE makes more money off of its sponsors than it does its product, meaning merchandise sales, fan attendance, live gate tickets, all that stuff. It doesn't make WWE as much money as it does from its deals with television networks, sponsors, Saudi Arabia, all of that. So it's kind of weird, You don't have to worry about producing a good product because that's not where your revenue is coming from. Your revenue is coming from your sponsors.
Yep.
And that's yeah, it's odd.
It is.
It's an odd one, man. It we could do a whole show based on just that stuff.
We could.
What's the last segment? I mean, hey, where are we at on the show? So like having the time in front of me.
We're right here just an hour, so we're going to talk about a couple more things. One of it will be the main event. I just want to plug real quick. What do you think about how they handled the women tonight?
You cut out the women?
Yes.
In what context?
And I'm not usually
right now, the women.
Yeah, like just tonight, like tonight's episode. I'm not usually one of these guys, but I felt like they kind of got the crappy end of time tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, Bliss is the only one that's really getting a highlight.
And last week kind of felt like short too.
Bailey got her knees cut off by Elias.
Oh yeah,
and
Elias refused the threesome apparently.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Santa asked him.
But obviously, outside of the 4 horsewomen, Bliss is the next favorite as far as all the women talent go.
Yeah, and that reminds me too, before we get to the main event, Paige made a comment earlier, maybe yesterday, at the 4 horsewomen are getting too much time. I don't agree.
No, I do. I agree that it's not. They're not building up anyone else. Like the horsewomen, I feel like peaked. Ooh. Well, they peaked at different times. So what you had 2016 was Charlotte and Sasha Banks, and they kind of ran with it throughout 17 as well. Becky Lynch caught fire last year, and Bayley just now is getting main event. I don't want to say level exposure because she's always been in the spotlight, but like the fandom, like she's getting the huge fandom now. And so you have all 4 women established. There's really not much else you can do with them.
The thing is, though, and this is my argument, you look in the last 2 years, if it wasn't for 4 horsewomen, Carmella wouldn't be over. They put, like tonight, Dana Brooke, she got over in there with Bayley. You had Lacey Evans probably.
Did she get over though?
That crowd was digging Dana, and they have been. Like Dana is slowly, like people are digging Dana right now, and it might just be the Batista thing. I don't know, but people are interested. Lacey Evans.
Well, hey, listen, man. I thought Dana was cool before she was cool. Now, all right. I've been pulling. I was the one cheering for Dana Brooke to win the Money in the Bank ladder match last year. I'm just throwing that out there. All right, Dana.
You had Becky working with Lacey earlier in the year. Hell, there was a 2-month stretch where Charlotte disappeared.
But they're not really establishing anybody else. No one else is hitting the level of the horsewomen.
But here's the thing: if you put on pay-per-view Naomi versus Dana Brooke, nobody really is going to care about that.
Yo, are you kidding me? Naomi was super over when she got that title.
She is.
When she got that belt, and then going into WrestleMania, I remember welling up a little bit when she had to relinquish her title due to injury because I was that invested in her.
Yeah, she was.
She worked
back
her
then.
ass off.
But like, I feel like not just namesake. Like, I feel like most matches kind of need the horsewomen in it. Like at least one on one side. I feel like that was what. Talk about the Lacey Evans, Carmella's. There's another one. I think 2 years ago, Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax was the Mania match. Like, yeah, the horsewomen are getting, but at the end of the day, if you look at the women's roster, the top 5 women in the ring, 4 of them's the horsewomen, and the other one's Asuka.
Yeah.
And they're top.
I mean, who could right now? Who could be the level of the Asuka? Bam. Got the talent, got the charisma. She could be easily as big as the horsewoman, but she's not. She's not. They're not doing nothing with her. Ember Moon could be. Granted, she's injured, but prior they weren't doing nothing with Ember either.
Kabuki Warriors right now are one of the biggest fans going, though.
Bro, they don't the tag team, the women's tag team scene right now is so stop and go. Like WWE can't make up its mind whether or not it wants to get behind it.
The Vision, no, but the Kabuki Warriors, yes. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind Vince is loving those two right now. And you had Asuka win a TLC match against 2 horsewomen and then tap Becky out a month later.
But, dude, they're not on the horsewoman level right now because, like I said, they're not featured in these heavy roles. Granted, they're like the B tier. I'm not saying that they're not being pushed right now. Yeah, they're being pushed. I'm not discrediting that. You got the A tier, and it's literally just the horsewomen, maybe Alexa Bliss, but even then, Alexa's so fresh back, we'll see. And then you got the B tier, and then C tier, which I'm not going to tier off everybody. We can do that for a show, actually. That could be a show. Yeah, it could be. But yeah, so you got, like I said, you got Asuka. She got the potential, and she could carry the division. Ember Moon carry the division on her in-ring ability alone.
If she can stay healthy.
If she could stay healthy, yeah. No, I mean, it's an argument.
And that's a thing, too. Like, yeah, there's all these, horsewomen, that. At the end of the day, once you get past that, yeah, you have Asuka, and she has been kind of a steady stay. But after that, your next Fury.
Look at the hype Asuka had coming out of NXT.
No, I mean after
Asuka. Undefeated, dude. She was a phenom.
Yeah.
A phenom, struck fear in the division. Now she's just like everybody else. I mean, she's a tag champion, so obviously she's a little bit higher level. But like, you see a singles match, people aren't cheering Asuka's gonna kill you anymore.
She's a heel, so she's getting a desired reaction. But no, after Asuka, the next 3 other than horsewomen would arguably be Ember Moon, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax. And all 3 of them's been out 90% of the time with injury. Like, there's just not enough consistency, I don't think, in the division to really make it, without the horsewomen. After that, you got Fire and Desire, and neither one of them are probably ready to go solo.
No, I mean, yeah, they are so well identified as a tag team.
So you pretty much, the most consistent people you can rely on are those 4 horsewomen and Asuka.
You could do Sonya Deville with Mandy Rose backing her up. But the thing is with Mandy Rose's look, they'll never want her taking a back seat to Sonya.
No,
that's the issue.
And they done a decent job with Nikki Cross so far too. I think they booked her well. But moving on,
Nikki Cross is easily C tier though.
Yeah,
they're not doing nothing with her.
But
go on. I say you can go and move on. We're just at this point.
We'll get to the main event. We had Baron Corbin versus Kofi to start out. These guys were having a good match. I tell you what, about 6-7 minutes in, Dolph Ziggler gets ejected. He comes back, attacks Big E. All for brawl. Big E goes gets a mic. Says let's just have a tag team. And why couldn't they just set this up from the get go? That's my question. Like.
Maybe they thought giving Kofi the like 6 minutes they gave him was, I don't know, for like the fans that want Kofi as a single star. I don't know. You're right. It is weird. And maybe it was just like one of those weird things that they like how they like to lead to a commercial break.
Yeah.
I don't recall, but I just assume that once the match was being restarted, they went to commercial.
They probably did. I just feel like that's one of the biggest complaints is overbooking. I feel like with stuff like this, just set it up as a tag team match to begin with and go commercial break anyway. It ain't like you're not going to have a commercial during the tag match anyway. You know? But anyway, again, they were having a pretty good match. Sorry, that was weird. They were having a good match. We had... What was the finish? Was it a DQ finish?
Yeah, it was a DQ finish because they broke out the handcuffs and started to handcuff Kofi.
I was wanting to say his whatever he calls his little Finley.
The scepter.
Yeah, I was wanting to say that, but you're right. It was the handcuffs. Baron Corbin gets handcuffs Kofi, rest call for the bell. They hang him up like they did Roman last week, and Roman comes out and whips about 15 guys. You know, because he's Roman.
Because he's Roman. Yeah, he really could just like take on the world, man.
It would not be a go home show if Roman didn't take out 20 people. I'm just saying.
No, man. Yeah.
But no, eventually they kind of get a little. Oh, Revival comes out too before Roman, taking a New Day. Eventually they get Dolph super kicks Roman. They get a little offense. They were gonna, I guess, throw Roman off the ladder. They didn't really set up a move, but Roman just countered and slung Dolph off through the announce table. Baron Corbin goes up the ramp, and that's your show.
That was it, yeah. Teasing the dog food, like Roman was going to get him back. Roman choke slamming Dolph Ziggler through the commentary table off the ladder. That was a nice little touch. But it was just a little reckless. What I'm wondering is, like what you said, the dynamic between Kofi and Roman, because they did circle each other throughout the night.
Like, I don't think
because Kofi came out before, during his promo, he touched on what Baron Corbin did to Roman last week with the dog food, and said he thought that was downright disrespectful. And so he was sticking up for Roman earlier in the night. Obviously, Roman didn't come out to save Kofi solely. There's a lot of revenge there, but it does plant the seeds that these two may entwine with each other going into the Rumble. And I fear it's as basic as your method, for them to go into the Rumble both as like a team, and then just for Roman to go over and the crowd to boo him. Like I said, as cool as the dynamic could be, Kofi and Roman together, it's them trying to build up Roman when the crowd is just gonna want Kofi, and that's gonna be it's not gonna be the most fun, honestly.
It won't. It kind of sucks too, because as fans, we should not just think that Roman's never going to touch that title again. Roman eventually he's gonna wear that belt again, and he deserves to. He's one of the top guys in the business, whether you like him or not. But it does suck that when it happens, this great crowd support that he's been getting will probably
gone.
Yeah,
it's just all gonna magnetize to Kofi, and Roman's gonna be booed again just because Kofi's gonna overshadow him.
And even if it's not Kofi, even if we're wrong on this, like whenever it happens, somehow it's going to end up to Roman probably getting crapped on, and that sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is what we said. We said we don't want Roman around the main title, and we don't need Roman, 2 to 3 Roman segments a night. That's all. We just said, give us Roman. Just less is more. Just less is more. Make him vulnerable. And you know what? That's what they've been doing, and people are cheering him. And it's not like we're saying never give Roman the world title again, but people aren't going to be receptive to it.
No,
That's just the thing, man. It's just the thing is because that preconceived notion that he's Vince's boy and he's a project of Vince alone, and it's not an organic thing. And that's what's hard is people cheer for organic champs. Whenever you have a champ that's handpicked, they struggle. And most of the time, the crowd turns on them. Now, granted, Roman is growing organically. But man, like I don't know. We could sit here and play fantasy booker and give him about 6 to 8 more months. Let's not do it WrestleMania. Let's do SummerSlam, Survivor Series. But I really feel like it's damn near impossible to get that world strap on Roman and get him cheered.
I do too.
Like I think people are so burned out with that image. They don't want it. And it's like, dude, what's your problem if Roman's getting cheered right now? Granted, we're complaining about something that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
This is all hearsay. But it's true, though. It's like, if he's getting cheered right now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
I just feel like Roman the guy deserves, after everything, deserves to try to be the face of the company again.
Can you be the face without being the champ, though?
Exactly. Like, I feel like he deserves that opportunity again.
Yeah, I mean, I consider him the face of the company.
But
already,
I feel like he's never going to get that fair shake, and that sucks. But
yeah,
one thing I hope is when this, and I'm not a huge Roman fan. Like, I respect the guy, and I think he is. He gets a lot of flack that he doesn't deserve.
It's not his fault. It's just.
But I hope, no matter how long from now it is, it's going to happen eventually. I just hope that people enjoy this Roman enough to where they say, even though I highly doubt it's going to happen, maybe Roman won't be that bad as
he'll have the John Cena effect, where people will hate him while he's around, just sing his praises. Yeah. They'll find all these things that all of a sudden they respect for him. It's it's weird, and you know what? It's just there's no simple answer on it when it comes to Roman. There's just not, man. There's no simple answer.
I feel like Roman, and there's a lot of guys like these where you don't realize what you had until he's gone.
Till he's gone, yeah. Look at how much people love Cena.
Yeah, and I
feel
you know what
I mean.
Roman's gonna be at the top of that list.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, Cena was polarizing. But at least for the most part, most places was near 50-50. For the most part. I know some places he got booed out of the building. But with Roman, that was the reaction everywhere. Like, he was what Seth Rollins has been the last few months times 5. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I just feel like his career has definitely been one of the most interesting careers for my generation, at least.
Yeah.
So, but that's about it. Now TLC, we got Sunday. Kyle, just real quick, man. What's your match of the night? What do you think?
Oh, Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy. All day. That's my style of match right there.
I'm gonna go. Okay, I should rephrase it. What was that the match you're looking forward to the most, or you think that will be match of the night?
I think that's the one I'm looking. Yeah, I mean that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. Okay. TLC is one of those B pay-per-views. Take it or leave it. Nothing crazy is gonna happen. Other than that, the only other thing I'm looking forward to the most is honestly what the hell is happening with Daniel Bryan.
I don't know. I'm pretty excited for the ladder match between Revival and New Day. I'm excited for that. Buddy Black, of course, that's going to be, as our old friend would hate to hear me say, a banger. Yeah, what you said, Miz and Bray. But I'm really looking forward to Charlotte and Becky versus the Kabuki Warriors as well. I think that's going to be a really good match, and it's going to set up Asuka and Becky again, I think, at Rumble for round 2. So, yeah. And I am excited to see kind of if Roman is next for the Fiend and Fat Build does kind of start around now. Curious of who Baron Corbin's going to feud with next. The face side on SmackDown's kind of thin. So,
Yeah.
So, kind of curious there. But other than that, yeah. I am looking forward to the show, though, even though the building's been kind of shaky. The card's good.
Shaky, but non-existent, man. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah. The card's good, though. So
The card will be fine.
And
It's one of those pay-per-views that you expect nothing out of, and a lot of the times those pay-per-views that you expect nothing out, they tend to do okay.
well, I'm not even looking at it like that because I do expect something from this show. Like, the card's really good. But
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But
I'm tired of the gimmick pay-per-views, man.
I
I'm
am
so
of gimmick
tired.
pay-per-views. I'll give you that.
The only gimmick pay-per-views that we really need: Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank. That's it. Maybe Survivor Series 2 as well.
Yeah.
Other than that, Hell in the Cell, Elimination Chamber, TLC. Dude, no one gives a shit about these matches anymore.
Yeah.
They used to be so impactful, and now they're watered down because they're just a holiday. They're just a thing. You know, they're not built at the boiling point of like some blood feud.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't stand it no more. Like that's why it's so bland to me. Like, dude, if you went back to my like 15-year-old self, right, and you were like, hey, look, you know, TLC, you're gonna have a night, man. You can have a TLC match, and you're not gonna give a piss about it. I would think that'd be crazy, you know. But it's the thing is like, it's just a thing to do. It's just like, okay, December TLC. Well, this is where we're gonna see table matches and ladder matches and this shit. And then same goes with Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber. Come on, man. I mean, how many more do we got? What else we got? I mean, or is that it? You got Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber, and TLC, right? Those are the 3 gimmick pay-per-views.
Yeah, that's about it.
But they hit October, December, and January and February.
Yeah.
So every other month, it's a gimmick pay-per-view.
And I feel that feeling. I am tired of gimmick pay-per-views. I am. But like,
Yeah,
just looking
man.
at the card, though, I expect some really good matches.
But like, I want to be excited for a damn tables match again.
Yeah.
I want to be excited for a TLC. And that's the thing is, the match type itself is only one aspect of it. You know,
Yeah.
you got to have the storytelling to it, and there's just lacking in the story. Remember when it was like, we just covered WrestleMania X7, but you remember before that the SummerSlam, because Edge and Christian couldn't stop using chairs in their matches. Dudley Boys were putting people through tables. Hardy Boys were always breaking out ladders. And so Mick Foley came out and was like, okay, you guys just want to go nuts all the time? Let's just combine all 3. And it was magic because storytelling and the match type lined up. But now it's like, granted, you're not going to come up with new match types, you know, every other year, but at least let your stories lead into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, it is a great line.
Yeah.
But it's,
You know, NXT, which they only have one a year, and that did kind of get a little muddy with the Survivor Series build happening at the same time, but they do a pretty good job of War Games for
with War Games.
But what I was saying,
Even that's gonna grow stale.
Yeah.
Like, it's not impervious. I think this year is the last year that War Games will be built well. Because come next year, people will be like, okay, it'll be 3 years or 4 years now? War Games is on it. Next year will be its 4th year, right? Yeah, because this year was the first inclusion of the women's match, which I think this was its 3rd year, and Undisputed Era has been in all 3 men's War Game matches.
Yep.
Yeah, it's man, just gimmick pay-per-views are stupid.
But
They're stupid.
what I was gonna say though, not just the gimmick thing. I feel like I am expecting something for the show. I expect a good show. The thing is, though, with WWE, the more chaotic, and what I mean by that was the card was announced late, and that made it a chaotic feel. Those kind of shows, it seems like WWE always do well.
Yo, why is the Rusev and Lashley match at tables?
Because Russo put Lashley through a table. What do you mean?
Just like he went through a contract signing table. You know what I mean? Like, and granted, it was a divorce paper, but it was a contract signing table. Why is the New Day taking on Revival in a ladder match?
That's
what
a
the fuck's
better
hanging
question than Rusev and Lashley.
Yeah, why are they in a ladder match? Why is the women's tag team championship match a TLC match? You know?
Well, maybe
At what
maybe next week the New Day's going
boiled over?
Maybe next week the New Day's going to come out and be like, my contract had a match type I had to announce, so I got to pick one match.
I'm telling you.
Like Chris Jericho and Jungle Boy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm just beating a damn dead horse. Oh my gosh! Shut up, man. Shut up.
Oh, I love it. All right, guys.
Yeah.
That's about it for our show. I do appreciate y'all tuning in. Kyle and Vince is going to do our predictions in the morning, I believe. So watch out for that. And, of course, our TLC coverage after the show. So we appreciate it. Kyle, anything you want to say?
Nah, man. Just thank you guys for joining us. I can't wait to just can't wait for the next one, man. Like always.
And I hope my voice is better for you guys today.
It is, bro. I can tell you it is for me, so.
Hey, I don't know how to take that. But all right, guys. See ya.
See ya.